doubt is quieter than anger. That's what makes it dangerous. It doesn't explode, it whispers. It appears immediately after you make a bold decision, right after you set a boundary, right after you say, I deserve better. And then almost immediately it leans in and says, do you think? It's subtle. It doesn't feel dramatic. It feels rational, logical, even responsible. And that's why so many strong people get stuck there, because doubt doesn't look like weakness. It looks like caution. But sometimes, it's fear dressed up as intelligence. Let me explain what I've noticed. When you start evolving, really evolving, you're going to feel unstable for a while. You raise your standards, you speak more honestly, you stop tolerating things that drain you, and that creates space. But space feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar feels unsafe. That's when doubt creeps in. You start replaying your decisions. Was I too harsh? Did I misread the situation? Maybe I should have just kept the peace. You question your tone, your timing, your instincts. You even question your growth. And here's the thing nobody says clearly enough. Doubt often shows up right after progress, not before it. You don't doubt the version of you that stays small. You doubt the version of you that dares to expand, because expansion requires risk, and risk makes your brain uncomfortable. Your brain likes predictable pain over unpredictable possibilities. Predictable pain feels manageable. You know how to survive it. Possibility? That's wide open. And wide open feels like you could fall, so doubt steps in like a protective friend. Let's slow down. Let's not embarrass ourselves. Let's not lose what we already have. It sounds caring, but sometimes it's limiting. Here's something I had to sit with. Doubt doesn't always mean you're wrong. Sometimes it means you're early in a new version of yourself, early in a new mindset, early in a new standard. When you first start lifting heavier weights, your body shakes. That doesn't mean you're incapable. It means you're adapting. The same thing happens emotionally. You decide you won't tolerate disrespect anymore. You say no to something that used to feel mandatory. You walk away from something familiar, and your internal system goes, wait, this is new. Are we sure? That shaking feeling? That's not failure. That's recalibration. But if you interpret it as a sign to retreat, you'll shrink back into the old version of yourself. And the old version might feel safer, but it won't feel aligned anymore. That's the tension. You can't unknow what you know. You can't unsee what you've seen. So doubt becomes the battleground, not between right and wrong, but between comfort and growth. Sometimes doubt is valid. Let's be honest. Not every decision is perfect. Not every reaction is pure. Self-reflection is healthy. But there's a difference between reflection and self-sabotage. Reflection sounds like, okay, what can I learn from that? Self-sabotage sounds like, I always mess things up. Reflection is curious. Self-sabotage is cruel. Pay attention to the tone of your doubt. Is it guiding you, or is it tearing you down? Because the version of you that's leveling up doesn't need to be insulted into improvement. It needs direction. You can adjust without dismantling yourself. You can refine without rejecting yourself. And that shift alone changes everything. Here's the shift I want you to hold on to. Doubt is not the opposite of confidence. It's part of it. Real confidence isn't loud certainty all the time. It's moving forward even while your voice shakes a little. It's saying, I might not get this perfect, but I'm not going backwards. You don't wait for doubt to disappear. You outgrow it through action. You collect evidence. You show up anyway. You keep your standards. You correct when needed. You stay open, but not fragile. That's maturity. The goal isn't to silence doubt completely. It's to stop letting it drive. You can let it sit in the passenger seat. You can listen to it, but you don't give it the wheel. Because the life you're building now, it requires decisions, and decisions will always carry uncertainty. That's part of expansion. If everything feels safe and obvious, you're probably not stretching. So let me ask you something. If you removed the fear of embarrassment, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of temporary discomfort, what would you move toward right now? What would you say? What would you stop tolerating? Because sometimes doubt isn't about capability, it's about visibility. It's about being seen in a new way, and that's vulnerable. But vulnerability isn't weakness, it's exposure. And exposure is where growth happens. Here's what's interesting. Once you learn how to move through doubt without collapsing, something unexpected happens. You experience moments of real confidence, real clarity, real momentum, and that feels amazing. But even that has its own challenge. Because when you start feeling genuinely good about yourself, there's a new voice that shows up. And it doesn't sound like doubt. It sounds like this. This won't last. So next, we need to talk about the unexpected high, because success and confidence bring their own emotional test. And that one surprises people the most.